Okay, so we also see that we can write conversion factors for rules that we have in chemistry. For example, if 1 mole of carbon is 12 grams of carbon, then we can write this as a conversion factor. So I can put the 1 mole of carbon on the top and the 12 grams of carbon at the bottom, and then I can also swap it around by putting this part on the top and the 1 mole of carbon at the bottom. Now I will use this when I'm doing my calculations for mole to mole and mole to mass. So if we look at a calculation where we're going to do mole to mole, we will look at the question and identify two factors, my unknown and my known. So if we look at this question, we see the unknown is how many moles of copper, and the known is that which they give you, 0.25 moles of copper 1 sulfide. So you will go mark them off in your equation and indicate which is the unknown and which is the known. You will use this mole ratios, which means the 2 on the front of copper and the 1 in front of copper sulfate, in order to do this calculation. So it's very straightforward. To start the calculation, you write down that which we give you in the calculation, which is 0.25 moles of copper sulfate. You write it over 1, and then you will multiply it with, now because you have moles of copper sulfate at the top, you will use moles of copper sulfate at the bottom. So you go to your equation and you go and see how many moles of copper sulfate you have, and that is 1 mole of copper sulfate. So I will put the 1 mole of copper sulfate, this one here at the bottom. Therefore I will take the unknown, which is 2 mole of copper, and I'll put that on the top. So this mole of copper sulfate and this mole of copper sulfate cancels each other out, and my answer when I put it in my calculator will be 0.5 mole of copper, and mole of copper is what my question asked me to calculate. So this is a mole to mole calculation, and for mole to mole calculation you will always use the mole ratios, and you will get the mole ratios from the balanced chemical equation. Now if the chemical equation is not balanced, then you have to balance it as well. So in this calculation the chemical equation is already balanced, so it wasn't necessary for you to balance it.